Alright, welcome back to another video. It is December 31 today, and we're over here in the shop working again today. So, I picked up a bunch of parts for the harvester yesterday. I'm going to show you that. So if you didn't watch the last video on this harvester, that's perfectly fine. But we are going over it, and we are getting it ready for spring again. So, right now it's all tore apart. We figured out what we needed, and we're getting parts for it. So, laying on the floor here is about $2,900 worth of parts with taxes in it. We picked all these parts up at Lebanon Ag yesterday. So that worked out pretty good. So, I'll show you what we got. First things first, there's 30 tines over there for our round baler. I need some new pickup teeth. They're the rubber style of pickup teeth. I would have preferred the metal, but I didn't want to switch over. But yeah, you can see they're rubber pickup teeth. That's fine. Up next, we have all of these main drive gears that have come off this kind of main gearbox here in the chopper. They all sit right in this area. So, pulled them all off. We're putting a new chain on there. You can just see how these gears have become kind of sharp. The teeth on them, they're sharp and they're a little bent versus the new gears. They're looking a lot better. So we had some issues with the chain skipping over the gears. So we're putting all new gears on there along with the new chain, and that'll make that run a lot better. I have 12 new knives for this harvester, but I didn't have, there's these little plates that go in behind the knives. You can see there's two of the old ones laying there. I tried to clean them up, but they didn't get fully cleaned up as nice as I wanted. So we went out and bought 12 new ones. They just have a lot of rust built up on them, and they're a little bit bent. So we bought that. Then there's a smooth roller scraper, which is this thing on the end here. The smooth roller scraper kind of sits down in here. Yeah, it's hard to tell where it sits, or it's hard for me to show you, but it sits in there and it cleans off the roller. Right now it's pretty covered in junk, but we'll worry about that a little later. And lastly, or the last two things that I forgot to talk about, was we got a new ledger bar. See, there's the old one. The ledger bar, if you're unfamiliar with it on these harvesters, sits right in here. And from what I understand, kind of tries to keep the knives sharp as you're using the harvester, something like that. I really should know, but that's kind of how I understand it. And then we bought some more Tiger lights. Right now on our cab tractor, there's one light burnt out on the back. I like good LED lights. Tiger lights certainly are not the cheapest. These are around $189 each. So not very cheap, but they're good. I've never had any trouble. They plug right in, and they have a lifetime warranty. So I believe each of them are 3,200 lumens or something like that, so they should be pretty bright. Now what I am hoping to do is I am hoping to get an LED light wired up there in the harvester somewhere, so when we're filling wagons at night, we're able to see to the back of the wagon a little easier. But that is what's going on with this harvester. So let's get into putting it all back together. Alright, it is January 3 now. So I'm back here in the shop again today. I did not have a very productive day working on the harvester in the shop the last time. I really didn't get a whole lot done that day, other than laying out all the parts, making sure I had everything. Just because I started doing other stuff in here. I started sharpening up some clipper blades, and then I didn't wrap up anything on the harvester. But today, we kind of have another busy day on the farm. We had a cow calve this morning, or a heifer rather, with a beef calf. So we still have to bring the cow over so we can milk her tonight and whatnot. But figured I'd kind of try and do something small today. So I'm going to get all of these gears put back in here. 3 gears. So there's the idler, then there's the 38 tooth gear here, and then the one we can flip for 2 different speeds. If you read over here, you see this is what we're running, or I'd have to count the teeth again, but these are all the different options. We're running 12 knives. I'd have to count how many teeth on each sprocket again, but this is how you can adjust your cut length. So, put it all back together. There you go. I just counted gears again. So, we're running a 3/8 cut length for haylage, and then when we go to corn silage, we're running a 7/16 cut length. I thought we had the bigger 2 sprockets, but I wanted to count up again. You can get kind of different sizes in between as far as I know. I just got the same 2 again, and then they welded them up over at Lebanon Ag for me. It's kind of a fun little tip for you guys that buy parts like me. You buy a lot of parts, and the inside of this gear here is all painted up really nice. You can try a lot of different things to get the paint out. You can take a wire brush to it or a screwdriver and try and rough it out. But if you look, you can see I got it nicely cleaned out. What I did to get that so nicely cleaned out without any scratches is I took some carb cleaner. It removes paint. I sprayed this full of carb cleaner. I let it sit for 5 minutes. So then I went to the barn and pushed up feed. Then I ran a cloth through here and cleaned it all out. So now we got our kind of bushing here. And it should just kind of sit in there really nice without a lot of force, just like that. So before, when I had paint in there, you couldn't push it through, and even if you could, you'd still have all that paint in there that would flake off. That's kind of how I like to do it. Saves a lot of kind of trying to scrape all the paint off, and then you're gouging the inside of the gear here. Alright, it is January 4 now. We're over here in the shop again today. So, yesterday we got all the gears back on here. I didn't get the chain put back on yet, but I'll do that today. But today we're going to work in here a little bit. So I'm going to pull out that smooth roller scraper, get the new one put in. Now the smooth roller scraper, just that scraper right down in there, scraping that roller. And then we're going to go ahead and get all of our new knives on here, along with everything, and just get that all set up. I'm going to have help to do that today. So that'll be what we do this afternoon. Alright, so I'm working on this smooth roller scraper here. I'm going to pull it out, but I might put it back in because I learned that it is adjustable. You can see right now we have quite a bit of play in there, but there's room in the holes to move the scraper down. So I'm going to pull it out compared to the new one. If it looks pretty good, I'm going to try and get it set further down again, so that this roller here can stay clean. Alright, so we've been busy these past couple hours. Farm mechanic that was helping me just left. He's really good, really smart. He's been working on these harvesters longer than I've been alive. So just a lot of knowledge. So, a couple things we noted and noticed was the smooth roller scraper. We started pulling it out and we had some trouble. The smooth roller scraper is actually a little bent. And if you look at the top here, you can see it's missing a hunk of metal versus this other one filled in with metal at the top. I'll let you take my word for it. Not going to show you that right now, but we noticed that, and then we looked in here, so we had a hard time getting it out. And if you look, there's a good way to show you. The gap on this side, you can see I can't stick the pry bar in. But on this side, it fits. That is because we have a smooth roller bearing out. So I went ahead and I took all that apart. You can see that bearing right there is out. It's laying here. So we're going to get a new bearing put in there. And then basically the other big thing we did today was we put all the knives in the harvester. We got them all bolted in. They aren't torqued, they aren't set, but they're in here. So yeah, it's all there. The backing plate, the knife, all new hardware. It's looking really good. I forget what else we did. We did a bunch of stuff. There's all the parts we need to kind of do stuff like the wheel bearing, stuff like that. Yeah, I didn't do it, but he went ahead and he cleaned up behind all the knives there, made that look really good. The other thing we obviously did was pull out the rollers. Since the smooth roller plate or cleaner was bent, we couldn't get it out through the side, so we ended up lifting it out and putting it through this slot here. That's when we noticed the bearing was out, and in that process we pulled the rollers out, so it's a lot easier to get in here. Someone in the last YouTube video suggested that, and I'm thankful for that suggestion because it worked out really well. So we also learned something to look at. We've been having issues with the metal alert on this harvester for a while, but you hear that. Sometimes, if you look, they'll make contact with this roller. It's not doing it very much now because it's not sitting in, but it'll hit this roller here and it'll turn it. So this is a metal roller touching our metal detector, and it'll set it off. So that's why we've been having issues there, or one of the reasons. So that's all right. I'm glad we figured that out. So that'll help us as well with another issue that we've been having. So for our next steps, I'm going to pick up some bearings. They're just generic bearings. I can see if the local place 10 minutes away has them, and if not, I'll go into Cambridge or town, which is only 20 minutes away, and pick that up. So we're pretty fortunate in that way. But that is what we have going on here right now. Alright, it is now January 9. So I don't want to really bore you with what I'm doing today. All I'm doing today is some shop cleanup. All of this area here, we're going to clean it up with scrap, go in the scrap pile over there. And then all of that dirt back there, I'm going to sweep out into a pile because we're going to be torching this harvester on Saturday to get out a couple of broken bolts along with the bearings. So I want it to be as clean as possible so we don't have a fire. So I'm not going to bore you with that, but I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Alright, it is now January 30. I'm over here in the shop again. We're working on this harvester. It's been a while since I've shown you guys anything on here. We've been working on it, but I haven't been recording much of the stuff, so I want to show you what it looks like. So, apologize in advance. I didn't look at the last clips to see how far apart we were. I believe I had shown you that these bearings were out here, so we got a new smooth roller bearing put in. See that there? New smooth roller scraper installed. A new bearing on that side as well. I believe both of these rollers here at the time were out over there. I don't think we had any of the knives in or the backing plates in. But since then, we got all the knives put back in. So we set the first one to the ledger bar, which isn't in here right now, and then the rest to the stone. We pulled the ledger bar out because we got tired of kind of hearing it ticking as we went by with all the knives. So we're going to be working on it again on Saturday, or I'm not, but our farm mechanic will be here. He's giving me a hand. I'm running a little short on time, and he is a little more knowledgeable about this kind of stuff. He's been working on these harvesters for longer than I've been alive for, so he knows a lot about them. So that is what we got going on here. So yeah, all the knives are set. They're all torqued. So there's some stuff I can put back together. I picked up my new set of hydraulic lines this morning. So I got 4 new hydraulic lines there to put on. So I'm going to go ahead and put those on at some point. Maybe later today, maybe tomorrow. But we'll see how we work out there. We'll see how things go. So that is what we got going on here. Don't really know if too much else has changed other than we got our new stone put in the back here. You can see that right there. And yeah, all the knives are in and looking good. So it's starting to go back together more than we're getting it apart, which is good. But yeah, there's quite a little bit of odds and ends to do here and to sort out. So we'll have to continue to work on that. But that is what we have been up to over here. So yeah, at some point maybe I'll show you putting these hydraulic lines on. I want to get them put on before Saturday, because on Saturday they're going to be sharpening the knives. We just want to get them all nice and smooth before we put the ledger bar in, and then we'll get the ledger bar in and get that set. So that's what we got going on. Yeah, I think that is all I have to update you guys on. We've been doing a lot of stuff. I'm sure I've missed some stuff, but that's kind of your 3.5 minute update. It'll be maybe a week before I get back in here to show you what's going on, or maybe it'll be a day or two. We'll see how it goes. But I want to get this harvester done, because up next we got a round baler to go over, and more than likely forage wagons to go over, but we'll have to see. We're still sorting stuff out over there with that, but I think that's the road we're going to go down for that. Anyway, there we go. Alright, it is the next day now. I have found some time to be in the shop, so I'm going to start working in here. So I have maybe an hour, hour and a half. My main goal is to get the front of this harvester back together with the 4 new hydraulic lines on. They fit. I made sure of that yesterday. So we're going to make sure they all get hooked up as they should. Up, down, left, right. All in the right order. Otherwise, we'll be in for a little bit of a surprise. So I took photos there, so we should be fine when it comes to putting them together. So that'll be what's going on over here. And then I'll see. I don't know if I will have time, but if I do, I might put the other one of these on in there. But time will tell. Alright, there you go. So that's the front end of this harvester put back together with the lines on. I got our redone cable zip tied on there. I got this cable here put back on as well, and it's all taped up again. So everything in the front here should be good. No more cracked hydraulic lines. They weren't leaking yet, but my guess was that in next year they probably would have started leaking. Then I've gone ahead and cleaned off everything off the tongue of this harvester, because tomorrow the knives are going to get sharpened, then the ledger bar will get reinstalled and set. So I've already opened up the cover so that I can put the PTO on to reverse the knives. So things are looking good for that. I got this cover put back on here now, along with this shaft reinstalled in there. So things are pretty good. I could go ahead and put the rollers back in and start reinstalling all that, but I'm running out of time and I kind of want to leave this area a little bit more open for when the ledger bar goes back in, and then I don't have to try and carry the rollers by myself. So yeah, I guess there's a little bit more stuff to move back here, but that is where I'm going to leave this for the weekend. I have somewhere I got to be tomorrow, so I will not be here helping again. So the next time you see this, the knife should be sharpened and it'll probably be a little more put back together. But I'm feeling pretty good. I got a bunch of stuff done on here this afternoon. I got a tractor to work on in the dry shed, the 6430. Not that I have the new fan belt for it yet, but I want to get the fan belt back on there straight. There's about half a fan belt left. So the new one should be coming at some point, but it has not shown up yet. Alright, we're back here in the shop working on this harvester again. So, as you can see, things are getting pretty far back together. We've already ran it, sharpened the knives up, got the ledger bar in and set that. Last couple of things we're working on. The one is this back door. I'm going to do that today. I'm going to weld a plate in here. Then the processor, we've been working on getting that set. There's little shims in here that we're going to pull out to get these rolls a little tighter because these rolls are starting to wear. And then after that, there is one more wheel bearing left to do, and then we're done. So I'm going to take this cover off and weld it. There you go. I got this plate sitting in here. I measured it up and I cut it. It's a 24 by 24 plate. It's 20 gauge steel. Maybe we could have gone with 18, but I want to get it bent up in here. So I'm going to start on the bottom here, kind of tack it on, and then I'll keep bending my way up. So I don't think I did too bad for a couple of quick measurements, trying to hack it up. So we're going to do 2 layers of 20 gauge steel, and we're going to offset them a little bit. So this one, I'm kicking towards the left side, and the next one will be on the right side. That way we can kind of cheat a little bit with our welding, or that's the hope, and then can overlap. But there's a little hole in it right about here. So the hope is if we weld 2 new liners in here, we don't have to buy a door. And I'm hoping that gets us to the point where if one of these years these processor rolls are worn out, the door will be worn out at the same time. Then we can look at if we want another brand of processor or if we want the same New Holland. Lebanon makes a processor, Horny makes a processor, then New Holland does, and I'm sure there's a couple of other makes, but that's kind of where I'm at with this. So I'm going to go ahead and start welding it all on. And there you go. It's the first layer in. I'm going to grind down some of the weld so I can get the second plate in over top, but I think it's looking really good. I welded all the way around. I probably could have gotten away with just tacking a little bit here or there, but I want to do a good job, especially because it's thin metal and I didn't want it popping out. So by doing this, I know I'll be good. And we got all of the weld ground down so that the next sheet can lay over top flat. And there you go. That is the second liner welded in here. I'm going to go ahead and grind down all the welds, and then we will see if the door can set, and if not, we'll have to do a little bit of work there. But the door set after I welded the first liner in, so hopefully it'll still set after the second. These hinges are pretty forgiving, just the way that they latch, so I'm sure I'll be fine. And there you go, a little snug, but it closes. It'll get better with time as well, I'm sure, because I had to kind of bend the plates in there myself. But should get us another year or two. And then I'm sure after that many tons of corn silage, these rolls will have worn a lot more. But we shall see what happens. But I'm really happy with how that turned out. So, there's that. Alright, we're back in the shop now. It is time for what I call a shop reset. So, we've been working on this harvester and we are nearly done. Partway through working on this harvester, I did a shop reset where I cleaned up. But we've been working on this for a couple weeks now. I believe almost a month and a half. Just on and off as we've had time. During that time, we've done a lot of stuff to it. So, it's time to clean up again. But you can see it's looking pretty good. There's some stuff I'm not quite going to get to. I'm not going to get to installing the light because I'm still waiting on getting that light. It's a little complicated. Switching out lights on a tractor basically, and then the one LED is going to go up on the spout there. So that's why I don't have it on yet. But the front end's back together. It's been running. All new knives, ledger bar, smooth roller scraper, new chains, new gears on the gearbox, new hydraulic lines at the front. The wiring harness up there is all sorted out again. Stuff like that we've been working on. A lot of different stuff. Been tinkering with this metal alert. These rollers are going to get tightened back up next week. We've done the wheel bearing on this side. And we have yet to do the wheel bearing on that side. We've also put some bearings in the rollers. But that's basically what we've been up to. But through that process, we've accumulated a lot of different tools. So it is time to clean up. There you go. That is this area kind of tidied up. I didn't sweep because I didn't bring a broom here. There's a little bit of a mistake on my part there. It's all of the tools put away, the welder, all that stuff. So it's pretty well cleaned up. So a few odds and ends out here and there, but they all have homes or places they need to be brought to. So we are good. But I spent around an hour in here. We're going to get a head start on chores in the barn tonight because we got to go away tonight, Mom and Dad and me. So if I can start on chores a little sooner, then it's a little easier to get going. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, it is now Saturday, February 15. I'm back here in the shop again. You can see I just pulled off the tire off the side here. We're going to get the wheel bearing going on this side. So I'm going to take that apart. And then the last thing is the processor. I don't know if I'll have help today because we're supposed to get another 33 centimeters of snow overnight. It started snowing now, so if I have help, great, we'll finish it. If not, I won't finish it because I'll start doing other stuff in the dairy barn. But I figured I'd get started on it. It's around 10 o'clock this morning, so I figured if I work on it for half an hour, we'll get some more progress. And there you go, we got it apart. So, something kind of neat I want to show you. If you want to figure out what the year is on one of these harvesters, you can look at the decals and I'll give you a ballpark. But what I like to do is I like to go over to the rim and look. And if you see that there, see that 020201. So this rim here is made the second day of the second month. So February 2nd, 2001. So that means this harvester is 24 years old. Alright, it is now February 22. You can see that we have now just finished everything up with this harvester. So we got our roller gap set at 90 thou. So that's done. Now we ended up having to heat these up with a torch on both sides to get them off. Then we pulled out, there's two little shims between the rollers. They're in the toolbox now, I could show you, but anyway, there's little shims that sit in here that we pulled out to close the gap. And then this side here, got the wheel bearing all finished up and back on, so that is now done as well. So we're in good shape and ready to go. I haven't gotten our light put on there yet, but that is because I have not taken the light off that I want to put on here yet. There's still a light I need to take off the cab tractor, and then that'll get 2 new LEDs, and this one's going to get the older LED. So then we should be in good shape to have nice lighting on this harvester. But that is everything done and looked after on this thing. Should be in really good shape and ready to go, just like new again. So, thank you very much for watching. This was definitely a longer video, and the fact that it's very chopped up over a long period of time. And then this is kind of the second part of this video as well. But I wanted to show you what was going on here. So, if you stayed to the end, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed.